Hey all, Peyton Marine here with another status report. Now this one is going to be for the end of September. This is coming a bit late, just a lot of stuff going on. When I got back from my kind of, I guess, work trip that had me away for a while, I did the giveaway and the big FAQ came out at the end of the month, so then I did those two videos, which I've been having a real issue lately trying to get videos uploaded in a timely manner as far as like getting them uploaded to YouTube. I figured out that problem. There's like a formatting issue that I was doing that is not correct, or which takes a fraction of the time it did before. The quality of the videos kind of have gone down a bit, unfortunately, so I got to figure out a way to adjust that so I can just have better quality, even though most of my videos you're seeing my lovely face, so it's no big deal if the quality goes down. But yeah, so that's kind of the issues there, and then really kind of getting back into the Armies on Parade, like trying to get my board done in time. I still got a bit of things to do, and today is, what is today? Thursday. So I have today, tomorrow, and then Armies on Parade, and I've still got a decent amount to do as far as the Army, like all that's done. The board is pretty much done. I really just have one building right here that I need to wash and then get some dry brushing done on it, and then that'll be done. And then I have one base from my salamanders that I never finished. So it's primed. I just got to go in. I got to do the lava effect and all the cracks, then wash, dry brush, do all that. So those are it. It doesn't seem like a lot, but with work, I got college full time and 3 kids running around. It takes a lot to get that little bit of time set aside so I can work on that stuff. Yeah, so those are things I need to get done so I can get to Armies on Parade, and we'll see. The competition this year is going to be heavy in my area. I'm hoping, I was just going and wasn't going to take much because I just want to get like the participation, whatever. If it's like a new Armies on Parade card, the little pin thing that you get, whatever, just that kind of thing. And it's cool to see everybody's work. But because I had a little bit of extra time, I can't just take a plain just 2x2 board and put my army on it. So then I went out and I started adding all this extra stuff. So I can give you a little preview here of what I've got going on. Now, as you can see here, I've got this back picture here, if I can pick it up. That'll go on the back. I'm just going to kind of have to set it slightly. Well, I'm not going to slide it down, but anyway, so that goes back there. And then I put some foam, and then it's like sitting on the top here, and then I took like some poster board and have it glued on the side here to kind of hide the inner workings here, because if I lift up a little bit, there's a whole lot going on underneath here, which if you've seen the album on the Facebook group, or my Facebook page, you'll see kind of more of the inner workings going on here, because then we don't just have just your standard cracked realm of battle board here. All those cracks, I had one point, I had those all painted kind of as a lava effect thing, but now they're all cut out because there are lights underneath there. And then coming up here, I have a little hole, got some power cables coming through, and I got one more cable I got to thread through to the power source underneath. And I will, over here I'm trying to get this thing reworked. Now it works. If you've seen my void shield generator before, it definitely works, but the problem I'm having right now is the lights on the top. The sequence is off. They're not blinking together. They're kind of blinking at different speeds, so I'm trying to get that corrected. And then I'll have that on here, but I'm still kind of on the fence whether I want to bring that or not, because I don't want it to get too busy. Because I already have like a lot of models that need to go on this board, but unfortunately, I'm not sure if I'm really going to have enough room for everything if I put the void shield and that. Plus, the void shield on this backdrop, if I move this here, will kind of cover the backdrop a lot. Now, On this side, there's not a whole lot going on. There's like kind of that big dark black space there, so having a building kind of there isn't as big. But then on this side, you have that nice, cool like scene of the lava going up to the mountain in the background, and so I don't necessarily want to cover all that up with having the void shield there. So I don't know. I kind of haven't decided fully yet if I'm going to put the void shield on or not, and if I can't get it to work, then I probably just won't take it, because definitely, if anybody is prone to flashing lights, giving them headaches or seizures or something crazy like that, I feel like the top lights right now on the void shield would cause those kind of reaction because they're just, like I said, they're blinking all kinds of out of sequence. So that's where I am right now on the Armies on Parade. So let's put you back over here. So like I said, I got a bit of work to do. It's nice, I guess, having my army completed already. And I'm kind of like, it's one of those things where this is like, the Salamanders were always it was really my first army that I went all out and just fell in love with and had. It's my most completely painted army, and so it's a little I don't know what it's like. It's like putting your baby out there, or whatever you want to say, for everybody to see and to judge and to whatever, and knowing that the competition just keeps ramping up each year, which is good. So having really one of my first armies, which I don't have the edge highlighting. I really just did quick dry brushing, but I spent time on everything else, and certain things that could be highlighted different. It's pretty novice paint work, I would say, for compared to what I do now. Even though what I think I do now is definitely still of a novice level, but kind of the higher tier, on the cusp of moving into a proficient painter, I guess. Maybe that's me being modest or humble, I don't know, but I definitely, I don't know. But I'm very proud of the army. There's a lot of cool conversions and stuff I've done in there. I have my Land Raider that I had used in the Tank Shock League that was out a couple years ago, and I have I had made little bits and upgrades that are all magnetized that you can put onto the Land Raider. So as you got the Monster Hunter special rule, there's a dragon skull that sits on the front of the assault cannons, and there was, I can't even remember, there was some scanner array thing. So I got a scanner array. I've got these antennas. I've got there's an invul save I think you could get. So I've got an Iron Halo thing that sits in the middle, and then I've got a Salamander's company banner that you can put up, which was, there was I don't remember what that rule was, reroll or something, I don't know. There was all kinds of cool little things that you could get for upgrades for your tank, and then I modeled it onto it, so I'll have that for sure. So there's a lot of that, and plus I think my lava bases, I figured that technique out and perfected it to my style, and I just love the way my bases look, and I always get lots of great comments on how awesome the bases look, so I'm excited to showcase those for sure. But like I said, I don't think I'll take one of the top awards for the medals. Now they're doing the medals again, the gold, silver, bronze. That would be awesome if I take any of them. I'm really, if anything, I'm just hoping to maybe win the best theme or best scenic board. One of the, I don't remember I don't know if those are two different categories or the same thing, and I'm muddling the title. But winning one of those with those little certificates, I think would be pretty cool. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess last year I tied for, it was best theme with my Star Commanders army that I had taken. And again, I didn't do much with that board. That was one of the Realm of Battle boards for the the city board. And it had the Aquila on it that I did a marble effect on. Brought the Void Shield generator with all the lights and blinking and everything, and that was really the only big kind of special effect thing I had on that board. And then I had, of course, my Star Commanders that I had painted at the time on display. So, and that was what I had discussed. Last year was kind of a little bit upsetting that I tied it, but the certificate of whatever went to the other person I tied with because one, I wasn't present. I had to drop my stuff off because I had because I do like the Spartan obstacle races, so I was actually doing a race in South Carolina at the time. So I came the day early, set up everything like right when he closed so that it was ready to go the next day, and then I had to come back the next day after Arms on Parade to pack up my stuff. And anyway, so to say that I was a little butthurt or upset about it is kind of an understatement. I was kind of heated about it a bit because he gave it to the other person that I tied with, essentially being the manager. He was the tiebreaker. But the person that he gave it to had already won, I think, like maybe 2 other categories, one of those being like Best Army or Best Painted. So, like, to have somebody come through and sweep is one thing, but especially when they tie in a category and they've already won other categories, I kind of felt like maybe you should spread the love a little bit. But whatever, at the end of the day, it's that manager's prerogative to do what he wants. And again, I also expressed my, I don't know what you're going to say, concern or whatever that because that also was a new person to his store that had never competed, and a new person in general to the area. So by them like front loading and getting all the prize or whatever, the winning, definitely encourages them to come into his store more because he's local. Because I was local in that area, but I've since had to move away, so I'm now 2.5 hours away from that store. So I'm not as regular of a customer as definitely someone who's local. So, regardless of, whatever motivations, or if there was no motivation, or he didn't even think of that, which is probably the case, I was definitely a little bit upset, but whatever. Gotten over it, and I've just decided in the end it's all just about the hobby, and we should just, be there to showcase our work and share the hobby and everybody's awesome work that they do together. And so, like I said, like this year, I was just like, I'm just going to bring a basic board and bring my salamanders, which I've never brought to a painting or a competition of any kind. And so that's where I'm here, because also I just didn't have enough time to do what I originally wanted with my Death Watch, which we'll see how next year goes. They're at least painted. I still have a Black Star that I want to get painted for them, but I have my Death Watch squad painted. I got a Black Star I would need to paint, and a ton of Tyranids that definitely need painting, and the issue being I can't decide on a color scheme with them. I had a few ideas. I got some color shift paint because I was like, you know what? I'll do that color shift paint because I can do like a really cool like bug carapace. How like if you look in on like a fly, like they have like that kind of color shift to their body and stuff. But on some test models and test runs, it didn't work as great as I wanted to. However, I did, maybe you can see it well on this one, I did use the color shift on the start of my Alpha Legion stuff, which I've been sitting around kind of avoiding painting forever, and I think it turned out really great, really awesome. Everything looks sweet. The only issue now that I'm having, that I've kind of hit a wall with, that I'm trying to figure out, is the shading and how to get some of the recessed details, because there's like where some of the armor plates meet and stuff. There's definitely something there. Now I need to figure out how I want to shade that. I may have to go through and just, tediously as it is, with a small brush, do the layers into where, like, spot layer carefully, or it's not spot layer, but spot shade as carefully as I can, because a few test models I found if you do the shade, it completely kills the color shift effect, including glazes. I tried a glaze, doesn't do anything. Other people have suggested putting a gloss over it first, like a gloss, like a hard coat or something to kind of like maybe bring up the shininess of it or whatever, and then try the shade, but it still kills it. So really the only thing to not lose that color shift effect is to do like targeted shading, which is just going to take more time. But I've painted a ton of Star Commanders, which take forever to do because they're based white, and their white is unforgiving. You can't mess up, and then they're completely edge highlighted versus a quick dry brush highlight, which I miss the days of doing that. Now that I've done the edge highlight, it looks so much better, and it just takes 10 times longer. So Yeah, so that's kind of what I got going on right now. I've got Tempestus Kill Team I'm trying to work on. I mean, I have a bunch of Tempestus Scions done that I'll be using in like because they're doing like a Kill Team campaign, but I'm really only going to participate so I can participate in the kind of paint competition thing that they have on the last month. And mostly because I'm actually going to, so I'm use my Tempestus I have painted in the meantime while I'm working on a separate Tempestus uh, unit, or whatever you want to say, that I'll use later as I get closer. But I'm making them to look more like ODST style Scions. So I'm using the Von Sar from Necromunda as the base for the models, and then I got the Elysian grav shoots that I'll put on them, and then I have heads from Puppets of War, the impact heads that look kind of like the ODST heads from Halo, that I'll be using for their heads. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think it'll look cool, and I had seen one other person had done a similar conversion like that, and it looked pretty awesome. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go that way. And our Games Workshop so far has been pretty good with third-party bits. They usually say as long as 75% of the model is still Games Workshop, you can have third-party bits or whatever. So a head is definitely not. I don't even know what you would call that for a percentage, but I don't feel like it would be over 25% of the model by any means. So I think they'll look cool, and so I'm excited to bring those. So it'll be December is when that last competition happens. And other than that, other big projects, I am way behind on my reading, so I need to get back into my reading stuff so I can get more Paint Marine bookshelf stuff out there for you guys. I definitely need to get caught up on that. And then the other big thing is if you've seen the big FAQs videos, or if you've just read the FAQs, the new one yourself, you'll know there's big changes to the Raven Guard stratagem, and therefore my play style has got to change. I'm definitely not a bandwagon chapter player. I'll say I picked the Raven Guard chapter tactics for my Star Commanders because the background to them was always that they were Loyalist Alpha Legion because what's his name, Craw, used like all the Gene Seeds, not just the Loyalist Primarchs, but used all the Gene Seed. And so they're actually an Alpha Legion successor, but that is kept a secret from everybody. And they're basically, their front is that they're all their Raven Guard. So because that at the time there with the Chaos Codex had not came out yet, and I thought Raven Guard like that it seemed to fit their stratagem and their chapter tactics seemed to fit more of kind of like an Alpha Legion style. And then it was ironic how when the Chaos Codex came out, how the Alpha Legion rules, obviously different name, same rules though. So I loved how that worked out perfectly, pretty much for the fluff of my homebrew chapter. Sorry, there's a mosquito I had to get. Hopefully, I don't even know if I got it. So hopefully that means, I lost my whole train of thought. So hopefully, I've got this new plan that will work out for them. Since there's that new rule of, the new stratagem change, which is just like a 9-inch scout move, which is whatever. Kind of changes up what I would normally do, and then the change of points. You have to have half your points or whatever on the table versus power level, which also changes what I can take in reserve and not. Really what that does is at most people are going to be able to have like one powerful kind of more elite unit in reserve, while the rest have to be kind of more like troops or not as powerful in reserves to just because of point wise. My current strategy now is normally I'd have my Hellblasters that would come strike from the shadows, just the standard Hellblasters, which they're going to change to the heavy plasma Hellblasters. Since they have longer range, the idea being that I can set them up then in my deployment zone and put them in cover. So that way I'm in a building, I got good range, good line of fire, line of sight, whatever, and they've got good damage output. And basically just camp out there. And then take the Plasma Inceptors, put them up in the sky, and have them come in on my turn 2 and hopefully mess something up. Other than that, supporting stuff being repulsors on the ground with range with las cannons and stuff. So that's kind of the hope there. And instead of being like a first term strike, I'm going to try to go for so before what I called my glass hammer effect, because it's pretty I can hit decently on that first turn if I don't whiff, but then it shatters. That's the end of the hammer. It's all done. Well, now I feel like I'm on a glass shield thing, because also with turn 2 you have that 2-point stratagem of a cover save for everybody in your deployment zone. So now with Raven Guard, we're -1 to hit outside of 12, and everything has a cover save unless you're already in cover. So anything out in the open, and that also though includes vehicles that normally would not get the cover save from being 25% or 50% obscured or whatever it is, which is nice. And they also don't have the chapter tactic of -1 to hit. So you'll kind of still be a little more vulnerable with your vehicles, but most of them are going to have a 2-up save. So, but anyway, so that's kind of my idea now. Is I got to circle the wagons, so to speak, and put my glass shield up. So I'm a -1 to hit, 2-up save, and then use my range to my advantage, and then drop in my Inceptors, and hopefully if I haven't already kind of weakened something, at least finish off some things. But concerns and issues with that, of course, being that objective games. I'm not going to have a lot of mobility for objective games, because as soon as I got to start moving or whatever, I'm going to start losing some benefits as far as that -1 to hit, which I haven't really used a full effect in past games, because with that strike from the shadows, I had my one units kind of really up close in their face, to where they would usually have to turn around in their backfield and focus on those things, which gave the rest of my army time to advance forward. So anyway, well, I guess enough talking about that portion, because I could go on and on about my tactics and strategies and things I want to try out with that, because the only other big news I have is the Thunderhawk. Finally, like I said in my post on the Facebook page, finally, I probably, since I got into this hobby, wanted a Thunderhawk, dreamt about it, was sad when it went away for a minute because they reworked it and then it came back, so now it looks even better. So I'm kind of happy in that aspect that I didn't get the earlier version. I'll get a newer, revamped version. I think it'll be here Saturday, which is kind of unfortunate that I won't be here, because I'll be 2 hours away at Armies on Parade. But I just can't wait. And that's gonna be a long project, because I still got a lot of things. That's definitely something I'm trying to get ready for Nova for next year, because I want to participate in that apocalypse. And so the Thunderhawk will be going to my Star Commanders, which already have an Astraeus, Lord of War. So I'm hoping to bring my Astraeus, my Thunderhawk. I need to get all my repulsors painted, because those are pretty heavy hitters too. They just got a lot of guns for what they are, and I have 4 of them, and I only have 1 of them painted. So I just got a lot of painting, and it just needs to get done, and never enough time, which just seems to be the truth. But yeah, so I can't wait for that thing to get here. So like I said, it should be here soon. Yeah, I don't know. So that's definitely one off my bucket list. Like I said, I had a post I had put up that I wanted to get some reinforcements for some of my armies, the Star Commanders. Obviously, I would love to have a Thunderhawk for all my armies, but that's just not reasonable. But at this time, so I've got a Thunderhawk for the Star Commanders. Then I had the Fire Raptor going to the Carcharodons, which I already had one. It just was sitting around for years, and it was originally going to my Salamanders, but I decided I want to give it to the Carcharodons for a little more heavy hitter, and it's just got that real Predator feel to it. So I definitely, I think that's a good choice. Plus, I'm planning on taking my Carcharodons up to Nova to participate in the team trios, so the trios tournament. And as of right now, I have one other partner, the guy that went up who went up to Nova with me this last year, plays Red Scorpion, so then I've already bring Carcardons. We got that kind of Badab chapter. So it'd be cool if we could get a third that also has like a Badab chapter or something, but that would fit the theme, even if it was a Trader Badab chapter. But I'm not going to be too picky, just as long as we can get a third, that would help. That'd be awesome. Excited about that. And then at some point I want to get that Mastodon for the Salamanders, because that just has Salamander written all over it with the Flamers and the giant melted gun and everything. So if I was going to get, like I said, like a huge big Forge World vehicle for my Salamanders, it's going to be the Mastodon. So I've already got 2 now out of the 3 that I wanted to get. So the Mastodon will be next on my list, and then eventually get a Stormbird and a Manta. The Manta, obviously, for my Tau, which don't see much play lately, just because I've been playing so much Star Commanders when I do get a chance to play. And then the Stormbird, I have no idea what chapter would get that. But it's just, it's just another wish list model I'd like to get. Plus, who knows, we might be seeing some Primaris stuff coming out again soon, some Primaris Flyers, hopefully. That would be awesome. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I'm back on that Thunderhawks topic or whatever. So, obviously, like I said, it's going to be Star Commanders, but with that, the theme of it, because it's Star Commanders, a lot of people think like, oh, it's a Toy Story or a Buzz Lightyear army. While, yes, that's technically true, it's a Star Command army. Because there was a cartoon show in the early 2000s that some people may remember that are a bit older, or some, I mean, you can look it up now. I liked it. I'm trying to remember how old I was. I don't know. But I was a little bit older, but I still caught it. Like, I was like kind of at that transition age where like, oh, you don't watch cartoons anymore, but then it was still like it was entertaining. It was pretty good. And I mean, I have them downloaded and everything now, because like I wish you could. They don't have, like, anyway, I'm talking around in circles. They don't have them like on an official DVD or anything anywhere. There's like no place where you can just like purchase them. Which is unfortunate. There was a standalone movie they did called Buzz Lightyear of Star Command: The Adventure Begins, which is a very long title, that I had on VHS, and then you could also get it on DVD. Like that's the only one that you can get on DVD. Everything else you have to like download, or you can get them online on DVDs, but it's just because somebody like downloaded them and burned them onto a disc. But anyway, so a lot of my stuff is based on that. So like my elites have yellow helmets, more specifically, Xavier Renato is my Redemptor Dreadnought, which is kind of like Xavier Renato is kind of like reborn or rebirth, because it's in a Dreadnought. But also then that's XR, which was the Experimental Ranger, which was the robot Space Ranger on Buzz Lightyear's team in that show. Then I have Sergeant Sinclair, also nicknamed Booster, my Inceptor Sergeant. So he has a big giant, rocket pack or jump pack on his back. And all my Inceptors have red helmets to pay homage to Booster Munchapper Sinclair, which was the big alien guy. He was a huge alien, and so he had his giant jetpack that he flew around on from the same show. And then I have like a Lieutenant Luxano, which was, just took the Latin lux and anno, so light and year, to make my lieutenant. Then I have a Gravis Primaris captain named, what was his name? I think it was just Captain Nova, named after Commander or Nebula, was it? I think it was Nebula. From same thing. He was a character on there. He was like their commander. He had like big handlebar mustache and peg leg. So I cut the leg off my Gravis captain and gave him a kind of a robotic peg leg. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely check out the album and all that, but I've definitely, so it's more correctly, it is based on the Buzz Lightyear cartoon, not the actual Toy Story show or anything like that. So the only thing that kind of deviates from it a bit is my Hellblasters have black helmets, just because I wanted something to be kind of like more like because they reduce everything to cinder, so that's why their helmets are black. So kind of combined different chapter stuff. So like Blood Angels paint like helmets based on like what is your role. So like the yellow or gold, whatever kind of helmets, I think it's more yellow, is your Assault Marines, and then your Devastators have the blue helmets and so forth. So I kind of went that route with, based on whatever your battle role is what color helmet you have, and then I use the Dark Angels iconography for their battlefield role on their shoulder pads. So instead of having like the up arrow, you have the arrows going out for the tactical stuff or troops. Devastators, instead of having like the A or the TP, I don't know what you want to call it, it is the blast, like the little explosion looking thing. Assault Marines are still pretty much the same, the X with the arrowheads at each end. And what else do we have? Elites are also kind of that Iron Cross looking thing, and then HQs are a skull. I'm really happy with that. But what all this was leading to is the Thunderhawk will be themed after the cartoon as well, and it will be Thunderhawk 42. The reason for that being is because the spaceship, the starship that they used in the cartoon was Starship 42. They all had different numbers, and Buzz Lightyear's was 42 on his starship. So the Thunderhawk will have different, numbers accordingly on it to indicate that it is Thunderhawk 42. So if anybody's wondering, or if when I finally get around and I get it built and painted and start getting there, you will see that it is very true to its source material still. So I'm excited about that for sure. Alright, well, I have a bit more videos to make, which I got to take advantage of this time because the family's out running errands right now, and we've got we had our hurricane that came through, Hurricane Florence. Luckily everything made it, but now we have Hurricane Michael coming. Now it's coming through the Gulf, so it's not going to hit us directly at all. It definitely is hitting Florida in that area more, but we're starting to get the tropical storm remnants now up our way, so we're getting a lot of wind and everything, and then some rain to follow. So yeah, we got that to look forward to, but hopefully everything, if we made it through a hurricane, I think we can make it through some tropical storm, but who knows? I don't want to knock on wood. This is wood, I promise, that I just knocked on. Hopefully we make it through fine, and nothing crazy happens, and this thing can dissipate and get out of here before Saturday so I can make it to Armies on Parade. So, alright, well, thank you for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this, and I know I go off on tangents at times, but just bear with me when I do. Check out the rest of the channel, check out the Facebook page, like, share, comment, all that, and I will see you next time.